Unfortunately, many of us go to school to get a job, for instance. We don't perceive it as a part of a massive effort to attain control and mastery of our situation, and ultimately to outdo the European. You see, one of the major problems we have as a people is, and one of the major functions, let us say, of Eurocentric psychology and sociology and history and so forth, has been to convince non-white people of the invincibility of white people, to convince us that the white man is not capable of being defeated, that he cannot assume his minority position in the world as he is. This being the case then, and it has made us then think, well, we have to accommodate him. We have to get along with him. Oh, he's going to, we have to live with them because they are in control and so forth. Well, that leads to a type of attitude toward learning that means that you are not going to try to outlearn him, outthink him, outmaneuver him, you see. So if you're going for mastery, you see, then the knowledge becomes very important, and you see it as a tool for advancing your own power interests in the world. If you're not going for mastery, you just see it as a means of being able to carry out efficiently the orders that are handed down. It also limits creativity, because if we are to defeat the European, if we are to master this earth and take back this earth from the European, then we must outthink the European. We must then be creative. That puts the learning emphasis on the how-ness, the how to think as such, and to the use of knowledge as a tool of mastery. It's a very different kind of thing. Very different emphasis there.
Let me ask you this, backflipping some. We talked earlier about the fact that in the 60s.
Pardon me. I sometimes want to get down to a little more practical implication of what this means. As a result, you see, of the control and the paternalism of Europeans over black people. You see, the other thing that we must recognize, even if the European becomes good and nice and accepts us and so forth, the fact that he would still be in control creates what we might call a benevolent paternalism, which still to a degree helps to maintain this passive mode of thinking, this passive mode of knowledge. Now, when you get into the classroom, you see a child then that wants to be told what the answers are instead of how the answer can be attained. For instance, sometimes in my class, I give an exam, and we're looking at the results of the exam. And the first question you would get sometimes is, well, what is the answer to so and so and so and so? And I had to say, look, you must find that answer yourself and dig it up. The emphasis is quite often then on memorizing the answer. So therefore, reasoning as a tool for finding the answer is thrown out as such. And the child then is handicapped in that if he has not memorized the answer, then he fails the exam because he either knows the answer or does not know the answer. You get what we call one-shot thinking. You say, I'll shoot and guess at the answer. Quite often, it gets into a kind of thinking that depends upon personal feelings. Often I find in my classroom, which is predominantly black, sometimes that I have to get the students to separate personal feelings and hunches from dealing with a problem as a problem that is susceptible to reason, not as a problem that has an emotional attachment to it as such. But you see, when you remove reason and sequential thinking and active attacking of a problem as the mode of approach, then the person is thrown back on memorizing, on guessing, on going with impulses, and on being unsystematic in their approach to knowledge, upon waiting for someone else to give the answer. So what you see quite often with the black child in the classroom is somewhat of a miniature reflection of the orientation of black adults to white people. For instance, to a great extent, black people look at Reagan as some kind of white daddy. And we see this kind of business, please, in a sense, Daddy Reagan, don't do this. Or we're waiting for Daddy Kennedy to come back into the White House. And rarely do we hear a discussion about what are we as Black adults going to do to solve our problem. You see, this is communicated to our children, and it's communicated in a way that they too wait for the answer. Blacks think that we've been misled by our leadership, for instance. They think that we can consume our way into equality, and sees equality as an equality of materials. So if I have the same car as a white person, if I have the same house as a white person, a similar job, then I'm equal. But you cannot consume yourself into equality. You must produce yourself into equality, and you move into equality and beyond by productive thinking. Because as long as you're consuming knowledge or you're consuming materials, the guy who is giving it to you or selling it to you is producing at the same time, which means that you never catch up with him because he's always 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. To a good extent, many of our students go into schools, college as well as secondary levels, consuming, and their minds are not being developed to produce the true means by which they will accomplish equality. Everything else is a sham.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Shouts out to Matron in the building. Appreciate you for coming through. Shouts out to Melanated Goddess. Appreciate you. And y'all subscribe to Matron channel. She just finished another chapter in the destruction of Black civilization. I believe chapter 11. But y'all, Matron be going in. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to her if you wanna learn. So I definitely show up for class. But I appreciate y'all for coming on here. And I don't want to be on here long, and I'm not gonna be on here long. If y'all want to jump on here and want to say something, that's fine, And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's probably not gonna be like a super. Well, I mean, it's things I wanted to show, a couple of things I wanted to show the other day, but I just didn't. But I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna make it like too deep or too long today, But if y'all want to come on here, just let me know. Feel free. All right. So, and before we start, I want to play this. You know what I'm saying? Just before we start. It's old, but I guess it's still relevant,
Keeping your family safe by picking up a gun. Some local law enforcement leaders say you should be packing heat.
Fox 35's Brian Scott is here now with more on this bold suggestion. Brian?
Yeah, 3 sheriffs in the area are now standing together on this one, saying terrorists, active shooter, whatever the situation, they want citizens ready to step up.
If you're not afraid of a gun, get one.
The message from Polk County's top cop.
I'll let this white dude tell you what I've been trying to tell you. I know we're going to be like, oh, why is he saying? But listen, if you best to go do that. But I'm going to let him say it.
Not afraid of a gun, get one.
The message from Polk County's top cop, crystal clear.
Become proficient. Get a concealed firearms license and carry it. And if you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot.
Sheriff Grady Judd's going public today with his response to.
So you hear that? If you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot, according to him.
Shoot somebody, shoot them a lot and carry it. Get a concealed firearms license.
Get a concealed firearms license. Carry
and
it.
if you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot.
And if you need to shoot somebody, shoot them a lot.
Going public today with his response to attacks around the world and here at home, telling citizens they need to step up.
The armed assailant doesn't plan on you fighting back. He plans on having a gun, doing all the.
They damn sure don't plan on you fighting back or doing nothing but standing there like, hey, this is not right. No justice, no peace. That's what they plan on. So I'm gonna let them finish breaking it down.
Doesn't plan on you fighting back. He plans on having a gun, doing all the shooting, and you're just the sitting duck, where the ducks need to shoot back.
And if not a gun, something to defend yourself and those around you. A bold stance.
Be prepared to serve as the first line of defense.
Very similar to the one Brevard Sheriff Wayne Ivey went viral with 2 weeks ago. That video now up to nearly 500,000 views.
No matter who you are, what your position is on guns, There's no denying the fact that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun or a knife is an armed and well-prepared citizen or law enforcement officer.
And tonight, Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is...
And that's it's not me telling you this. All right, the only way to stop a terrorist, one who causes terror, you know, they don't expect you to fight back, you know.
Stops a bad guy with a gun or a knife is an armed and well-prepared citizen or law enforcement officer.
And tonight, Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is also stepping up. He tells me he backs Judd and Ivy on this one completely, adding, there's not enough police in America to stop all of these threats. Just one citizen stepping up, he says, could make the difference. So the stance clearly popular among those local law enforcement. On social media, though, the reaction's a bit more mixed. Some praising the message, others saying it's not helping, even some saying it creates panic.
Now, I'm sure you can guess what black people saying about this story. And this is old, and they bringing it back like, oh, I can't believe they telling us to do this. Yo, what's up, Oni? And he was like, you know, I can't believe you're telling us to do this, but he broke it down better than I could. So, one more time.
Citizens, they need to step up.
The armed assailant doesn't plan on you fighting back. He plans on having a gun, doing all the shooting, and you're just the sitting duck, where the ducks need to shoot back.
And if not a gun, something.
Armed society is a polite society, right? Because we see where not being armed gets us. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know that I get annoying with this, but it is what it is, you know. I want you to see. Now, I ain't even tripping, but I was like, yo, this white bitch just made this up on the spot, you know.
Black people are notorious for naming their children 25-letter names that they're never going to get even pronounced right, let alone spelled right. Like, why would you do that?
Do you know why they actually do that? The reason for that
What's
is
up,
because
Cassandra?
during slavery, they're
Now this white girl is straight lie. Like
the reason for that is because during slavery, their identities were taken away. So they had to have unique names in order to identify their offspring when they were sold from different plantations. So that came down generationally, generational trauma.
Okay, well, how about now?
Now she just made that up on the spot. But yeah, shouts out to Cassandra in the building.
Only to your standards.
Like, what is? If I were that child, I wouldn't want my name misspelled all the way through or mispronounced by people.
That's because people can't take the time to pronounce it correctly.
Whatever.
You can say,
you know, they care about everything that we do, you know. And this is why, you know, you got
this year
black people tripping. And I'm gonna get to a point after this. I'm just playing this first. All right, so.
Ain't nobody ganging up on you. You know what you was doing. You was harassing that woman in between those doors. You can't deliver her package.
And you black people can't. You can't.
That's your thing. That's your thing because we black.
Your
because
attitude.
where you going live on video. You'll be on YouTube, Karen. You'll be on YouTube, Karen. You will be on YouTube, Karen. For the way that you act, you should have just went on and walked your dog.
And they get their rocks off by this stuff. That's why they keep coming back.
And got out of her way. She could not give you that package.
You should be thankful.
And I'm not.
Thankful to be in our country.
You right.
Because this goes with the theme, y'all. You should be thankful to be in this country. You know?
That package do not belong to you. What do you mean by thankful?
Thankful to be in our country.
You right. You're right. What's your name?
You have a car to drive. You're not living in a dust bowl in Africa.
So you're entitled to be in America and I'm not. You right.
Only over there in the dust pool over in Africa.
In Africa.
So you're entitled to be in America and I'm not. You right. You're right. What's your name?
You have a car to drive. You're not living in a dust bowl in Africa.
So you're entitled to be in America and I'm not.
No,
you're entitled to be in America and I'm not.
I don't need a bunch of black people ganging up on me.
You're entitled to be in America and I'm not.
I don't need a bunch of black people ganging up on me.
Well, why was you threatening her? Go ahead on. Well, you need to go back where you're from then. If you can't stay in Arkansas.
That's right, because you guys have taken over like tribes.
That's right. Well, you'll be famous on YouTube.
Bill Clinton, who's a black woman, told me Bill Clinton, black woman, that decided they were human. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of.
Well,
now I was like, what the hell did she just say just now? I didn't even understand that sentence. Maybe it skipped or something, but I was like, what the hell
A
did
black
she just
woman
say?
told me Bill Clinton, black woman, and decided they were human. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of.
well,
You should have known a lot more than.
I'm glad you think that way.
Bill Clinton decided to some woman.
I'm glad you decided to think that way.
Oh no, we be tripping.
Listen,
We got you, baby.
I don't need a bunch of black people getting involved.
We got you, baby.
Some black girl. I don't care.
We got you, baby.
I'm trying to help someone.
Go ahead. You cannot help her. She explained it to you that she could not get you them.
Now this dude here, she's sitting here enjoying every minute of it. He over here having a panic attack. Like, what the hell is this guy? Why are we so damn emotional all the time? You know, I don't understand. Like, do we get our rocks off from this stuff? He's like, why he told her she was right. I don't know. Yeah, they ought to be thankful that they
Folks panicking.
be like, I don't see how they ain't cut my daddy's throat when they was.
I was telling her don't sneak in the building behind me while I had the door open.
Okay, just go ahead and
All
leave.
right, this goes on for a long time, as you can see. But one thing that I do want to show you, and why I do talk about it, not for y'all. I know that y'all gonna have y'all white girls, white bitches, but for the youth who may learn one day, because oftentimes, like this, like a month ago, another youth went out there, met some girl, a white girl online. You know what I'm saying? And now he's never been seen again. Right? They arrested the girl, but then they let her go. But yo, check it out. He was just 20 years old, you know.
Family outraged after a woman charged with murder is granted bond.
It comes as they continue to search for their loved one who vanished nearly 4 months ago.
Right. I was trying to understand their language, but I was like, what the hell is she talking about? What?
Comes as they continue to search for their loved one who vanished nearly 4 months ago. These are photos of Leandre Flint, a 21-year-old from Gwinnett County. Atlanta police say they believe he was killed in Buckhead back in July, but as of tonight, his body has never been found.
And just last month, after being on the run for 75 days, authorities arrested Destiny Stevens, charging her with murder and concealing the death of another. And tonight, 11 Live's Cody Alcorn is live from Buckhead. This is near the Marquee at Buckhead apartment complex where Leandre was seen alive. And Cody, Leandre's family tells you they just can't believe the judge set bond.
Ron, talk about a punch to the gut. Leandre's cousin says it is absurd knowing how gruesome of a crime this was, that one of his accused killers could be let out of jail as early as Thanksgiving. A $150,000 bond.
For it to be so low
infuriates Shannon Wilson.
His oldest cousin.
Leandre Flint would have turned 22 next month, instead
22.
becoming Atlanta's 99th homicide victim this year.
There's no closure.
Knowing Leandre's body is still missing warrants shedding light on why it may be hard for police to find him.
Because of the heinousness of the crime.
Surveillance video captured two women getting out of Leandre's vehicle, buying a handsaw and bolt cutters at a Lowe's on the last day he was seen alive.
And
one of
his
the
car.
women identified as Destiny Stevens, now charged with murder and concealing death of another.
She won't say where his body is, but they granted her a bond. Make it make sense to me.
The family can't.
They actually took my auntie in custody because when she heard that she had bond, she just yelled out, "Where's his body?" Because we still haven't found his body.
Upset knowing.
Now, the brother who's missing, his mom, when they let her get bond, stood up in court and say, "Yo, where is his body?" And then they arrested that brother's mom instead. So like while they giving her bond, they arrested the mom, I guess, for like whatever in court. That was crazy.
It took police nearly 3 months to track Stevens down, and now she may be able to slip away again.
It's very hard. It makes me extremely angry. You have to be responsible for your actions.
Yeah, consider I don't know if it's like 1824 or what year it is. This is the other white girl who probably he was
just
trying
in
to,
tonight. A
link up
second
with.
young woman is
But
now.
also, don't just be meeting up with people on the internet. I know, especially as a dude, you probably like feel more. But there's a lot of setup artists out here in the world, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't have no protection or nothing like that. Like, and that young brother, he was 20, right? And the other brother, he makes a good point. I guess I'll play it. He made a good point. He was like, it's hard to say. I mean, I get it. You're right though, considering, but he was like a young brother who was like 20, and he probably didn't understand. You know, I know I wasn't messing with white girls, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, you know, I didn't understand the situation I was in at 20 years old, you know what I'm saying? But I damn sure was not gonna end up in some raft in Iowa somewhere. You ain't have to worry about that, you know. But I don't know. And this is the other young lady. But so don't be going to meet up with people online and just all of that stuff too, you know.
Woman is now facing murder charges in the death of a Gwinnett
they
County
arrested his mom for
21-year-old.
saying, "Where's his
Right
body?"
now, Audrey Zelke is in custody.
This is the other strong-faced Euro chick here, who got arrested. Now they was in his car and went to go get like bolt cutters and like a saw, basically stuff to cut up his body, probably driving his car, and then they left it there. Now this is they charged her with murder, but of course they got like the other girl got a $50,000 bond, and then they just arrested her 2 weeks ago. But I think this happened a while ago, like a long time ago.
In Carroll County as she awaits extradition here to Atlanta. Police say she's charged with murder and concealing a death in the death of.
You know what the thing about the movie Get Out though? At the end when he was choking her, he straight let her go. He straight let her go. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we are.
21-year-old Leandre Flint. Zelke marks the second suspect charged with Flint's murder. Back in October, authorities arrested 20-year-old Destiny Stevens on the same charges. According to police, Flint was shot and killed at the Marquis Buckhead apartment complex. We followed this case for you from the very.
All right, so let me see.
Online dating site, started talking to a white girl, 21-year-old white girl named Audrey Zelke, okay? So Leandre and this white girl must have been going back and forth, exchanging messages, maybe exchanging personal information, you know, got off the site, email, you know, text message, whatever. They were communicating. So let's get to this important stuff. Let's fast forward.
I agree, Consider.
On July 29th of 2023, Leandre Flint told family members that he was taking a trip to the car parts store. He had to go to the auto parts store to get some things for his car. That's what he told his family. But they believe that this is the day that he went to go see the white girl named Audrey Zelke that he met online, okay? Now, this girl, Audrey Zelke, she lived at this place called the Marquis at Buckhead, which is a...
Look at this, like, hard-faced white girl here. Like, this is what you really ready to die for? Like, this dude looking... I don't even know... Well, no, it's no wonder they always argue about whether a dude or not, but, like, her face is pretty, or if it's her face is pretty tough.
He's at Buckhead, which is an apartment complex on Colonial Homes Drive. Okay, that's where she lived at, or that's where she was hanging out at, you know. But Leandre went to this girl's place at this location, and after this, his phone was never turned on again. Leandre was never seen again. July 29th, 2023. He was never seen again, alive or deceased, okay? Now, the authorities believe that when Leandre went to this white girl's place, this Marquis at Buckhead, he was shot and he was taken out by them, okay? They believe this because on the same day that Leandre went to this apartment complex to meet Audrey Zelke, there was a report of shots fired at this apartment complex the same day. Now, there was also a resident at the leasing office at this place that said that they had a bullet hole in their wall, you know, and it came from across the hall. They said that it came from the residents across the hall. They had a bullet hole in their wall. Somebody went and complained, like, listen, I got a hole in my wall. And the place that it came from is where Leandre was at. That's where they say Leandre was at, okay? For 3 years, so they knew something was wrong. His phone had been dead since the day that he investigation, right? They seen Leandre Flint's pickup truck at a Lowe's parking lot on Caroline Street in Atlanta, northeastern Atlanta, okay? They seen Leandre Flint's pickup truck.
Look like Michael Jackson, yeah.
Okay, and what they seen actual video surveillance of this white girl, Audrey Zalke, and another girl named Destiny Stevens. Destiny Stevens is actually one of the owners of this apartment, okay? They were driving this truck. They got out of Leandre's truck and they went inside the Lowe's, okay? So we got these two white girls driving Leandre's truck, which is odd. They go inside the Lowe's and they purchased a handsaw and bolt cutters. These two girls driving Leandre's truck purchased a handsaw and bolt cutters. People, what you think that was for?
He said, don't disrespect Michael Jackson. I agree. Yeah, only you better be careful out here, my brother.
What do you think that handsaw and bolt cutters was for? In addition, this girl, Destiny Stevens, the friend who was also driving the truck, she was identified through the leasing account as the residence owner. And she allegedly used the same card number to make the purchase at Lowe's that she does to pay bills at the station. They went and looked into it deeper.
All right, so
Stevens and Audrey Zalke.
Something that they left out was, I'm trying to skip to it.
This girl, Destiny. This guy's name is Amir Bobo.
Now, there's another dude who was probably an Arab, you know what I'm saying? Well, according to the brother here, you know what I'm saying? Who owned the apartment, you know what I'm saying? And they saw them taking his body out or something like that. Or they saw him taking something out that, you know, could have been that, you know. But the other dude didn't get charged at all. And you see they never brought him up in like the news or anything.
In addition to this girl, Destiny, this guy's name is Amir Bobo. Amir Bobo is the actual leaseholder. He's who they seen moving bulk items on a furniture dolly. Okay? That's what they seen. People, those bulk items on that furniture body, the furniture dolly, that this guy, Amir Bobo, who owns this apartment, who's the leaseholder with the other white girl that he was pushing, that was Leandre's body, man. You know what I'm saying? That was Leandre's body. And you know, them items that they got from Lowe's, you know what they use that for, y'all. Yeah, it's very gruesome. You know what they use that for, okay? Also, people, on August 16th, maintenance workers at this apartment complex said they found blood on the floor, on the fourth floor.
So, I mean, you know,
onto an elevator.
All the evidence
So there you have it. Amir Bobo told these girls that he could take this car back to Detroit and get rid of it. That's what that $50,000 bond in order not to contact Leandre Flint's. And she was charged with murder and concealing the death of another. That was in October. But unfortunately, disrespectfully, she was granted a $150,000 bond in order not to contact Leandre Flint's family. So people, that's right. This girl is charged with a body and she got out on $150,000 bail.
And well, as long as she don't contact the family, it'll be all right, I guess, you know. But, you know, that's a whole nother thing. And I don't want to go down that, you know what I'm saying? But I did have to show that, you know what I'm saying? But also, you know, back to that chick saying you should be lucky. Because I showed this on the last time that I came on here.
After last month.
But I didn't talk about it or whatever. Hopefully it play. Now, I don't know if y'all had seen this before, right? Now, this is Mexican here.
You working. No more money for you. Bye.
I was saying, like, no more money for you while he going to get a free meal and warm bus to stay on. You know what I'm saying? But he sit here and you know, sitting there antagonizing black people, of course. But you know, it's just another mulatto group. I didn't mean to say that, you know.
Go back across. No more money.
Go back across the border.
No more money for you.
So he's telling you, no more money for you, you know. No more money, Holmes.
No more money for you. It's lazy. You lazy.
On my way to my free meal. You lazy. And this fat Mexican girl here, you know what I'm saying? They all look like that once they get a certain age, I guess. But she said they're laughing, and he calling somebody lazy while he's filing in to get his free whatever the hell he's getting. But you know how it goes, right? So people try to, like, you know, even when my good brother MV2 does his lives, he be telling you like some, like, when you start looking at your job and you're cut hours, and they got, you know what I'm saying, I know I've seen a bunch of Mexicans at places where I go to working there, you know what I'm saying? And when you start seeing that affect your paycheck, especially with the as much as everything is costing, and then they're cutting your hours, and not just the Mexicans, but because quiet as is kept, you know what I'm saying, a lot of Ukrainians then went up in Chicago, but they're good, you know, they're going to get everything set up. So, like, you know, Belinsky or whatever the hell their names be is probably going to be on the next wave of police force. Like we was just saying, how a lot of them can come here and they don't have to do whatever. They can just become police officers. But you see the disrespect, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, speaking of like immigration and stuff like that, his sister kind of went in, you know.
To their employed countries, Italy, Portugal, and England. I had the honor the last time I was in SA, which was last month. South Africa is illegal citizens for more than 10 years.
Basically, she was saying all of the illegal immigrants that came to South Africa and everything that's going on in South Africa, right? And I also mentioned this, but I didn't even really talk about it though, because I showed this, right, with the immigration and how when they talking about I don't know if black people gonna worry about this part of it as long as they stop killing Arabs, right? You know, but Israel is in talks with Congo about sending more Arabs into the Congo, despite everything that's going on with the Congo.
Prime Minister Benjamin Media, a senior official, said Israel is not conducting.
I couldn't really play her because she was just talking about the Arab side of things, you know what I'm saying? Now this white boy here, I don't even really want to play him because, you know, he's one of them typical liberal white dudes, you know what I'm saying? But I guess he like the only one that kind of had was talking about it, and y'all will probably believe it because it's a white dude saying it.
Hey, it turns out, you know how they said that Israel wanted to get rid of all the Palestinians so they could take over Gaza? Well, it turns out that's what they're doing. Israel officials said in talks with the Congo, others on taking, so they're trying to get the Congo to take Palestinians.
Well, they have a previous relationship from deporting Africans. That they do from Rwanda.
Really?
Yes. In fact, the thing of, I can't remember how long ago it was, but Israel deported all these.
Yeah, you get they get arrogant, you know. Well, yeah, they deported, and Israel deported all the black people, even the black people from America. Like, maybe that one dude who called himself a rabbi or whatever the hell he called himself, and maybe Amari Stoudemire. But other than that, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be tough for the rest of us to get up in Israel.
Take Palestinians.
Well, they have a previous relationship from deporting Africans. That they do from Rwanda.
Really?
Yes. In fact, the thing of, I can't remember how long ago it was, but Israel deported all these people back to Rwanda, and then other countries were trying to do the same thing because Israel did it.
No
They're
kidding.
a real trendsetter and stuff like that.
So they're just sending Palestinians to the Congo. And what is wrong with being forcibly relocated to the Congo? Name one thing. Name one thing that's wrong with that.
Ethnic cleansing?
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I'll take ethnic cleansing for 100, Jimmy.
Now, I guess that's the extreme part of it, you know what I'm saying? And I hate to be the bearer of bad news and break it to you, but sometimes you cannot negotiate with terrorists or a psychopath. Sometimes like these cleansings that they speak of may be the only way. You know what I'm saying?
Also, was the Congo like, yeah, send them all here? Why? Like, why? It's like suspicious that the Congo would want that.
There must be some kind of a deal. The Times of Israel. This is not this again. This isn't the Jimmy Dore Show report. This is the Times of Israel Hebrew sister site. Zeman Yisrael reports that Israeli officials have held clandestine talks with the African nation of the Congo and several others for the potential acceptance of Gaza immigrants. Congo will be willing to take in migrants, and we're in talks with others. A senior source in the security cabinet tells Shalom Salami.
I mean, I can see what's going on in the other places where the Arabs is going over there. I can see what's going on there, you know. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Salami.
Yerushalami quotes intelligence minister Gila Gamaliel saying at the Knesset yesterday, quote, at the end of the war, Hamas rule will collapse. There are no municipal authorities. Land will become a security buffer and security buffer zone.
What does that mean? They'll have raves on it?
And by the way, who's exactly responsible for all that? Shouldn't they be ashamed of themselves for saying that?
There'll be no.
Now they said they're gonna make that land like a security, I guess, thing, security zone. But you know, my thing is like, you know, it's not really about like, look what they're doing. Like, I'm mad at them. I'm like, why aren't we like taking notes? Maybe you should set up some damn security. You know what I'm saying? So
no work. What about getting all that precious natural gas?
I get
but it's like the job creating fossil fuels.
It's like they just say that like a true sociopath would say this without any conscience whatsoever.
It's not for you. It's for other people. The
IDF said they're definitely going to funds tied to them accepting the Palestinians. We're probably going to finance that as well. Consider it only makes sense in the context of the last 700 years, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that we don't get it, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing that's the only part of it that makes sense, is that we don't get it.
Without any conscience whatsoever.
It's not for you. It's for other people. The IDF didn't censor this for you to see.
Yeah, that's right.
This was from an Israeli. Always go to an Israeli source, because they just openly say what they're doing.
That's what they're saying. And it's like kicking someone in the face and saying, why'd you get blood on my shoes? That's what this is. By
the way, he's talking for the Arabs, but it's really for you, though. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what the Arabs is going to do? What do you think the Mexicans doing here? That class of... Maybe you should stop making whole groups of people by mixing. That's a whole nother conversation.
So I'm trying to figure out the psychology of the Zionists and the Israel people who are for this, because there's
all right.
Because
he's no different than the rest of them. Let's be real.
Israel.
That's right.
I heard women.
They're committing a genocide against trans. Didn't you know that?
Women weren't on.
While they sit here in America, you know what I'm saying, doing what they do off the blood of everybody else. Right. But anyway. So I do want to play this, right? Because Rwanda and Congo denied claims, but we're going to see. It's going to be hard to get that out of there. But of course, they say they deny claims, you know, of plotting with Israel.
Chad have refuted online claims that they have engaged in any discussions with Israel concerning the potential acceptance of Palestinians.
They say besides Amari Stoudemire, the rest of them got sent to. Oh yeah, those Israelite brothers. They had that thing where they was in the swamplands with a dump or something like that, where they set them over there. But they really trying to get them out because they talk about an ethno state. And listen, look, we get why they got kicked out of everywhere they go. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, like, you don't have to be like, oh, I feel racist or something. If you talk about you want to have an ethno state to provide and protect yourself, because obviously nobody has ever been our friends in the history of history. Nobody. You can't point to, oh, this group. If you point to any group in the world, they've stabbed you in the back. And that's incredible that we still find a way to trust and say, right is right, wrong is wrong. We can't have their kids in cages. You know what I'm saying? And now they like, oh, you lazy, as they walk in to get their free whatever.
Displaced from the war-torn Gaza Strip, citing the latest fake
Yo,
news.
what up, my brother William Bell? Yeah, and the black people over there will tell you how the Arabs treat them, how the shysters treat them. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we talked about all of that stuff. Like, we went, like, I remember we was going through all of the places because they be like, oh, racism is an American thing. That's a damn lie. You know what I'm saying? Because if you listen to how, like I said, I was listening to an Arab and a shyster debating earlier, and they be like, oh, well, you committed this atrocity. And they was right about each other. You know what I'm saying? How horrible both of them is. Right? And black people always caught up in somebody else's stuff. Like, they say, like, the world, like Raw, I like how Raw put it. She said, you know, there's only one world war, you know, is when they attacked us. But like the worlds that they talking about, like, how is it a world war when black people ain't even in it? You know what I'm saying? We fighting for everybody else. But anyway.
Campaign from Israel. The Rwanda Foreign Ministry circulated a disinformation alert against the Zman Yisrael, an Israeli news outlet, and the Times of Israel's Hebrew sister site. That had claimed that Israel is in talks with Chad and Rwanda to accept thousands of Palestinians from Gaza. No such discussion has taken place either now or in the past, and the disinformation should be ignored. Earlier, Congo and Chad also denied holding talks with.
But to be fair, the African country earlier, or last year now, a few months ago, did elect a white girl to be a beauty queen and told everybody else to shut the hell up. So
Israel about the forced displacement of Palestinians from Gaza. Contrary to what is reported in some media, there has never been any form of negotiation, discussion, or initiative between Kinshasa and Israel on the alleged reception of Palestinian migrants on Congolese soil. The Congolese government spokesperson, Patrick Muyaya, said in a statement late Thursday. In its report, the Times of Israel asserted that Congo is willing to take in Palestinians. Quoting from a senior source in the Security Cabinet, it claimed that Congo will be willing to take in migrants, and we're in talks with.
Now, isn't the Congo in like a crazy crisis? Why is their name even brought up in that? That's one thing in common that black people around the world. What in the hell? Why is Arabs, you know what I'm saying, more important than yourself? I don't get it. Like, you can boycott, oh, look what they doing, and whatever. You can say right is right and wrong is wrong. But how could you not feel that way about yourself? Like, how could you not focus what you do with your dollars for yourself? But if, Lord, God forbid, an Arab, you know what I'm saying, do something, or, you know what I'm saying, get killed because they didn't do what they did. Man, that's crazy. I don't understand how we think or why we think that way. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, the title ain't got nothing to do with it, but they might be right. You know what I'm saying? It might be the opposite of woke because they want to shut woke down. But what is the opposite? That's how stupid they are. Like, what is the opposite of woke? It's like sleep. They like saying you should be sleep. But we kind of want to be sleep. It's just bananas. All right, so speaking of that, you know what I'm saying, with the Congo and all of that stuff. Now, recently, you know, I guess because the brother Malema brought it up, so I guess people is talking about it, you know, and that is all of these African countries still paying reparations, pretty much, or paying, just like here, like, you know, like pretty much when they take tax money from us, that's like us paying tribute. You know what I'm saying? It's no different. And you know what I'm saying? It's 14 countries. That's just for France and the French people. And some of them is fighting back, but I don't know. Hopefully the younger generation, because it's more younger black people on the earth. Hopefully we wake up and we get it, you know what I'm saying? And why the youth? Because guess what? We're old and we're gonna die before they will, you know what I'm saying? So they have a better opportunity.
Economic independence and development of these nations, but also has geopolitical ramifications. The recent coup in Nigeria, for instance, raised concerns among dependency and debt. It's a scandalous echo of imperial domination, a slap in the face to the concept of sovereignty and self-determination. As we delve deeper into this controversial quagmire, we'll uncover layers of geopolitical manipulation. If you colloquially $1 million and a nominal total GDP of 196
Okay, yeah, this is how much money
African
they gave them.
Republic, Chad, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, and Gabon, these nations with a combined population of $174 million and a nominal total GDP of $196 billion, are reportedly compelled to pay significant amounts of money to France, a practice rooted in the colonial era, marked by the dominance of European powers over vast swaths of Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Ended for most countries in the mid-20th century, however. The economic and political influence exerted by former colonial powers like France has persisted in various forms. In the case of these African countries, this influence is allegedly manifested in the payment of a colonial tax, which amounts to approximately $500 billion. This system reportedly obligates these nations to deposit a portion of their budget into the French central bank under various designations. The mechanism by which this takes place involves the appropriation of around 85% of the former colony's annual income by France. Consequently, these African nations often face significant financial challenges and are said to be in a position where they need to borrow back their own money from the French central bank, accruing debts in the process. The restrictions imposed on these countries limit them to accessing no more than 20% of the transferred funds. With the possibility of France vetoing requests for larger sums, France's justification.
And you know, it's crazy. And when they make plans, they say, well, we know these Negroes ain't going to do nothing. And we already know what they're going to do. But if they ever realize the situation and actually stand up and do something, how are we going to be prepared for that? You know, just like back in the slavery thing, they was like, they would look at you like, yo, how could you like shave my daddy's neck and not cut his throat? I would have cut his throat and it wouldn't have took me my life to do it, right? But they always made preparations and plans. Like they outlawed so many things, you know what I'm saying? The wildest things became laws here in America, you know, like the plant, just knowing about plants, you know, or Matron said earlier about like a black woman can't say, even though after she got raped, can't accuse a white dude of being the baby's father and stuff like that. And all of that generational trauma. And they just look at you like, yo, if they ever get a clue and ever do something, how are we? They still preparing for that, even though we're not there yet, you know.
For this system is claimed to be the investments it made in infrastructure and buildings in these countries over a century ago. The implications of this arrangement are far-reaching and controversial. For instance,
yeah, because I was going but I ain't do it because I was going to show Namibia, and they going into it with Germany trying to speak up for Palestine and all that stuff, and like, how you gonna say this and that when you're doing the same thing to the Palestinians that you did to us? Because they had the first genocide of the 1900s. The Germans did. You can name any group, any of them. They're all the same. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this is the French.
Any refusal by an African leader to comply with this tax payment has reportedly led to political instability, including coups. This situation not only affects the economic independence and development of these nations, but also has geopolitical ramifications. The recent coup in Nigeria.
Force this colonial tax where they're getting $500 billion a year for nothing other than colonizing these countries. Every day I understand what James Baldwin meant when he said that to be a person of color in this country is to be in a constant state of rage. But I'm taking it a step further and saying to be African in this world is to be in a constant state of rage, because for centuries. Our people were taken, our people were stolen, our people were pillaged, our people were demolished, and our people were used as slaves, and our people were just brutalized all over the world. And even in 2023, we are still paying the price of Western colonization.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we are talking English. Of course, we're still in the process of what was happening. We think that that is over or something because I guess we're comfortable. Yo, Matron, if you still in the building, I'm gonna ask you. If you say yeah, then I'll do it. Matron, should I show the mulatto thing or no? If you say yeah, then I will. But if not, or if you don't answer, I won't do it.
African leaders often face accusations of corruption and perceived alignment with Western interests, which can be attributed to a compelling reason. These leaders find themselves in a delicate position, driven by concerns about their personal safety
Okay, I got you, Mason.
and the stability of their nations. Their actions, seeking powerful nations' support, stem from a desire for protection against the risk of coups or threats. However, this quest for security sometimes comes at a cost. Western powers, in exchange for backing, may expect these leaders to prioritize external interests over serving their own people or their nation's best interests. Former French President Jacques Chirac's declaration in March 2008 rings with a sobering truth. France's significance could diminish to that of a third-tier power without Africa. Chirac's predecessor, François Mitterrand, foresaw this perspective as far back as 1957 when he prophesied, "The absence of Africa could render France's historical narrative incomplete in the 21st century."
Wait,
Under a binding, when he prophesied, "The absence of Africa could render France's historical narrative incomplete in the 21st century."
It means we back in the dark ages without these N-words.
Under a binding colonial pact enforced by France, 14 African nations find themselves compelled to deposit a staggering 50% of their foreign reserves into the French central bank, all under the control of the French Minister of Finance. Astonishingly, as of 2014, Togo and approximately 13 other African countries continue to shoulder the burden of colonial debt payments to France. The repercussions of dissent are grim. Leaders who dare to resist face dire consequences, often falling victim to assassination or facing destabilizing coups. In a troubling twist, those who comply with France's demands are...
So the thing is, right, they be like, okay, we have the resources. Let's hurry up and get that out of there. Right, that's the first tax. We're going to steal some of the people too, you know. That's the first tribute you got to pay. Then they're going to be like, okay, well, we built a building here, so you have to pay us tax. Now, there was the debts you had to pay for getting out of slavery, but this is a different debt for them having their buildings over there. So they're paying, you have to pay them to extract the resources from your land and give it to them, right? And I don't know why that we continue to do that, because it's a hell of a lot of black people on the planet. It's like a whole lot of black people, and even the sellouts, because I'm sure they have a population, but it cannot outnumber the black people who already know what's up. So they're making them pay like, I guess, like what, $500 billion or something, however much money, because just to you know, continue to exploit them and then exploit them on top of that. So they're paying taxes on top of taxes on top of being, you know, exploited and kidnapped and stuff.
Rewarded with a luxurious lifestyle.
Yeah, there would be
supported
nothing
by the
without
French
them.
government. This stark contrast paints a harrowing picture of disparity as the people of these nations grapple with extreme poverty and despair. The weight of this reality underscores the profound imbalance in the relationship between these African nations and France.
They are paying to be kept poor. That's a fact.
Raising crucial questions about sovereignty, economic justice, and the future of these countries as they strive for genuine progress and empowerment. Let us take a closer look at these 14 African countries. 14. Benin. In the pages of history, agreements have shaped the course of nations, and the Franco-Benin Cooperation Agreement of 1975.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna put the link in right after this. I'm gonna do the mulatto thing, and then I'm gonna go off. All right, but and this is for anybody who's like not on some like matron or Casidra only or whatever. If y'all got something to say about the topic, you know what I'm saying, you definitely welcome to come on here, because if not, then it's about to be over. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat if it let me. All right, here we go. So if you want to say something, but like I said, I'm gonna say something that people may not like after this. So all right, let me finish with this, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Is a poignant example. This accord, while fostering diplomatic relations, cast a shadow over Benin's autonomy by affording France significant control over its economy. With the power of a veto over Benin's government decisions and the right to intervene in its economic affairs when it saw fit, France left its mark on the country's path to development. Just a year later, in 1976, the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation further solidified this relationship.
All right, so the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation. And again, pop quiz, name one treaty that Europeans have ever kept, even with themselves.
Agreements that France signed with Burkina Faso include the Franco-Burkinabe Cooperation Agreement of 1961, the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation between Burkina Faso and France of 1966.
Friendship and cooperation. That sounds like a damn lie for some damn French fool.
And the currency agreement between Burkina Faso and France of 1967. These agreements gave France a significant amount of control over the economy and politics of Burkina Faso, and they have been a source of tension between the two countries for many years. France was accused of supporting Macky Sall, who won the election by a narrow margin of natural resources, such as uranium and gold.
By the way, uranium is used for nuclear power, which could be used in multiple ways, which includes electricity, but also includes protection.
Is the exploitation of Niger's natural resources, such as uranium and gold. France has a monopoly on the mining of uranium in Niger, and it also has a significant presence in the gold mining industry. This has allowed France to exploit Niger's natural resources for its own benefit, while Nigerians have not benefited from this exploitation. For example, France has not paid Niger any royalties for the uranium that it has mined in the country. This has cost Niger billions of dollars in lost revenue. In addition, the mining of uranium has had a number of negative environmental impacts on Niger, including water pollution and the displacement of communities.
Come on here, Matron, if you can. I ain't gonna be long, I promise. But if you can.
France has signed with the country. In 2020, there were protests against the French government and French companies operating in Mali. These protests were
never mind. I don't want to say that. Not the
government. Under the terms of the CFA-Franc agreement, Mali is also required to pay a colonial tax to France. Trade imbalances have skewed in favor of France, exacerbating Cameroon's challenges in achieving self-sustaining. Relationship with Chad has been a topic of concern, with allegations of exploitation and negative agreements that have impacted the country's development.
Okay, yeah, Matron in the building. What's going on, Matron?
Hey, Forecast, how you doing tonight?
I'm good.
That's good. They've always used their attempts to control the economy as a means to control the African. Whether they blacken off the coastlines, or they're siphoning off funds, or they're siphoning off natural resources, or siphoning off people, they've always used control of the economy and the money system as a means to control us. Ain't nothing changed in over 2,000 years since we first came in contact with them in different places.
Yeah, it's the same old thing over and over. You know what I'm saying? And check this out, because I want to hear what you had to say about what they was talking about in Congo
benefit
too.
The Chadian people or disproportionately favor French interests. 5. Congo. France's historical actions in Congo include atrocities during its colonial period, such as forced labor, brutal suppression of uprisings, and exploitation of resources. The infamous rubber trade in the early 20th century resulted in immense suffering and loss of life among the Congolese people. France's support for dictatorial regimes, both during colonial rule and post-independence, has
They didn't
contributed
say his name, but Leopold.
to
Yeah, cutting off people's hands.
They never say his name.
and human rights abuses. Additionally, the role of French companies in resource extraction has often been criticized for benefiting France while leaving Congo's population impoverished. These actions have left a painful legacy in Congo, highlighting the need for acknowledgement, reparations, and respectful international relationships. 4. Central.
All right. So with that and what we was talking about
the Garden of Eden
earlier with the Congo, with Israel is about to send more Arabs over there, So what do you think about all that?
Oh, this is just an attempt to come back and reclaim the land. I mean, they're putting those people over there, but that's how they take over a land. They send their people there. So I'm sure that they have some additional ulterior motives for wanting to send those people there, because those people aren't going to mix into the local economy. They're not going to integrate into blackness. They are Palestinian. They think they have their own identity. They think that they are going to go over there, if the ones that actually go, and they're going to integrate socially and sexually into the power structure, and then they're going to integrate white, and you're going to be looking up and it's going to be white people running the Congo, because all they've ever wanted was control of the Congo.
Yeah, and control of the Congo, the resources, the people, and like they said, the brutality that they was doing over there. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, and it's going to be crazy, and it's a never-ending cycle of devastation and destruction. Those people are going to get over there. They're going to think that, oh, they're going to finally give us programs and resources, and they're going to give us education, and that's not what's going to happen. They're going to be integrated into the police force, and they're going to have this foreign army and military service over there, policing those people, forcing them into additional types of horrific slavery.
Yeah. And that's exactly. And then the crazy part is a lot of these countries is sending young people over, like African countries are sending young people over to Israel, but they're also going over to European countries, and they're not paying them, they're making them pay for the trip, and then after they use them, they send them back, to whatever country they're from. And France does it, a lot of European countries do it, and Israel does it too. So
yeah, and that's another form of slavery, because they're making them pay for the trip. They're allegedly getting skills, but they're not going to give them any good education. They're going to give them menial labor jobs. They're going to be over there. Once they've used them up, they're going to send them back, and they're going to be less skilled. They're not going to have the resources. They're going to be put in a position where they have to go into more debt slavery in an attempt to just make a living for their family. These situations are happening over and over and over again. And so they're just trying to refill their slave population to ensure that there's a permanent underclass so that they can continue to push forward white power. That's it. The only way this is going to change is if we start sponsoring these young people over here to get the education that they need. And that's an expensive undertaking, but it's the only way that we're going to be able to change anything, to send the knowledge and information back to Africa, or we go over there and we open our own schools with trained, qualified people that are able to transmit the information that they need.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. Now, Matron, do you have any opinion on the young brother who went with the white girl and came up missing? Or
Why was he with her in the first place? Why is he out there messing around with Becky's in the first place? Yeah, they probably killed him and they probably dismembered his body. For all we know, they could have ground him up and ate him or fed him to a hog, because they say pigs eat anything. So you know, for all we know, they'll never find his body. Talking about where's his body. They're never going to find his body. And, you know, he went out there trying to get some strange or whatever, and he got the wrong thing. He shouldn't have been with her in the first place. Every time we hear about these brothers going missing, they are with a white girl. You know, it's rare that you hear somebody going missing when they go out with their black friends. It's rare. It's like the other guy that went whitewater rafting with the white girl and he died. You know, why? Why are we continuing to go out with these people and try to mix with these people? Why is this being pushed on our children and our babies, this integrationist line, when these people are beasts? These people are maniacs.
Yeah. And that's why I think it's important for the younger people, you know, for those of y'all who are parents, and to like have the conversation with your children and for them to understand. It's crazy how like I don't even have to use the same story twice and it keep being millions of stories of young. I don't think I went past like 2016 when I was talking about a lot of these cases, but of course it goes hundreds of years deep. It's just I don't think we get it, you know, but it's, I don't know. That's why I try to give them their wake up call, but they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it because they think that there's something special over the rainbow. It ain't nothing special about being over there. Nothing at all. It ain't nothing but heartache, frustration, and headache. These women are not more docile than black women. Well, these white women are not more docile than black women. They are differently dominant. And the most powerful thing a white woman can do to offend a white man is to be with a black man, because not only is she saying, I reject you as a man, so I've emasculated you, but I'm with a black man, so I'm letting this black man have something you can't have. So no, these women are not more docile. They're differently dominant. They're more manipulative. And actually, that's them trying to flex on the white people that they're around. And then you have the whole class of white women that are with black men that are the rejects of their community and society. They would have been bred out of existence if a black man hadn't decided to go on over there and get him some of that pudgy Becky.
Yeah. The pudgy ones or the strong face ones. Yeah, I agree with that. Now, Matron, I guess I'm about to get you in some trouble, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to say nothing about this one, right? Because I thought it was funny. You can say something if you want to, but I'm not talking about this girl, but
A white lady just told me I was white. Girl, no. So I just went to the store and I'm standing in the checkout line and this lady finna check me out, and then she look up and she's like, how you doing? And I'm like, hey, like, just check my shit out, bitch. I'm ready to go home. Like, honestly, I don't need y'all to be friendly when you checking me out. You already see I'm buying pads, bitch. I'm having a bad day. Bag my shit. So she looks at me and she's like, oh, your braids are so pretty. Okay. Mind you, she an old white woman, so I'm like, thank you. Then she do what the typical white woman do. Oh, did they hurt? Like, are they hurting right now? And I'm like, no, they're not. Then she goes, yeah, when I was in Jamaica, like, I got braids just the front and they were pulling my hair so hard. And I'm like, it just hurt so bad. And I think they were mad at me in the first place. That's why she was being rude on my head, because, you know, like us, we're not supposed to get us. Do I really deceive the whites to thinking I'm white? I have a Negro nose. Hold on. Then she goes, yeah, maybe it's because, like, you know, I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean? Then she goes, or maybe it's because, like, she wanted me to pay $40, but I bargained her to $20. You know, they don't really like that. They? Oh, okay. And I'm looking at her the whole time like this, because I'm really confused at the point that you said us.
Now, Matron, you gotta say nothing about
Passing
that.
is a thing. Passing is a thing, and she wants somebody to believe that she was passing. They make whole movies about this. They make movies about this. Passing is a thing, and she doesn't look to be white passing to me, but I have black eyes. Okay, so maybe I see something. Maybe that white lady saw something I didn't see. Maybe I'm seeing the reflection of me in her. But she felt like she was passing. And maybe if she had her hair down and she didn't have braids, maybe she would be white passing. I don't know, but she doesn't look white passing to me. But passing is a thing.
Yeah, yo, they made us watch the movie in school. It was like that old movie where the young girl is ashamed of her mom and she could pass, and then her
Imitation of Life.
Yeah, they made us watch that at school.
Imitation of Life. And when when her friends found out and they rejected her, yeah, yeah, she was white passing. But white passing is a thing, black passing is a thing. We amalgamate everybody into us, and hey, that's how we are. But we have to learn to reject the ones that don't want to be black and let them be out there on their own and try to integrate into those other societies. We need to let those bloodlines die off. It's okay. We got to stop trying to integrate everybody into us. But she felt like the old white lady felt like she was white passing, or that's what her story time is telling us. But she is not white passing in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't know if her story is true, or not. But it was funny because they was like roasting her in the whole video in the comments. I ain't gonna play that part, but when she was like, "What do you mean us?" But like, she does look mixed. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, she looks mixed. This is a whole nother conversation. But there wouldn't be no mixing had you had followed rules. And the only reason I'm not blaming the children, I guess, until they become enough to be a population of Mexicans or Arabs or East Indians or every other mulatto group in the world, it's a tough conversation that people don't want to have,
Yeah, it's a tough conversation people don't want to have, but that's where the people groups come from the mixing. Depending on where they are in the world, they mix African and some other Neanderthal group, and they have offspring, and they keep having offspring, and those offspring become a population unto themselves with their own language and their own customs and things like that. And then they decide to fight over the land so that they can have their right to exist. We're the only ones that feel like, oh, we should just push in and we should just make ourselves smaller to make room for all these people. At some point, we're going to have to stand the line. We're going to have to toe the line and say, no, either you with us or you against us. And if you against us, then that's fine. Then you must be destroyed because you're against us.
Right. I agree. And shouts out to Jermaine Thompson. Shouts out to Bill Gates. Yo, it's been a minute, my brother. How are you doing? Now, Matron, this is the mulatto one I wanted to play like a couple of times. I had this like for like almost 2 or 3 weeks, But I'm glad you're here. And if you want to say something, because this is the last one, if you want to say something while she's talking, just say something and I'll stop it.
So I'm in the reserves, obviously, and I'm scrolling to social media and I keep seeing people posting about Israel and Palestine, giving their uninformed opinion about the subject. And I realized something. I would like the confidence, like legit, I would love the confidence of people who have the most basic, narrow understanding of this conflict, who go ahead and post information with such a determination. People who have zero understanding of the Middle East and the ripple effect that happens every single time you take any action in this region. Like you watch 2 TikTok videos and 1 Instagram post and you're like, I'm down. Now I can weigh in on one of like arguably complicated
And if you don't know, she's talking to Black people, really.
That exist in our world. Like if you cannot tell me why Yemen, declare a war.
Let me get to the
recording.
My bad.
What makes her an expert in this, in her opinion? Who does she think she's chastising?
You Negroes, because she's half Negro and half Shyster. So that's her Shyster side talking.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll try to go.
More than everything, I would like the audacity. The audacity of people coming to my page, a Black Jewish woman, and try to educate me about my own experience.
She needs to understand that as a black Jewish woman, she's a half breed. And even if her mother is Jewish, because she's black, they're not going to consider her full Jewish. There's because it's supposed to be you are what your mother is in their custom, I think.
Yeah,
And
it is. It's you are what your mother is, and they try to say you are what your father is, but you are what your mother is.
right. And she's sitting there as a black Jewish woman trying to take up for her country's genocidal behavior and chastise her black side. This is where the this is the disrespect that comes along from these half-breed people. This is the disrespect that comes where they totally castigate their black side and they totally disrespect them and denigrate them because they hate that part of themselves. Because, but for the blackness that's in her, she would be something else. But for the African blood that runs through her veins, she would be fully Jewish. And she hates that about herself. So she can only express that hate that she has for that part of herself by going off on those people that identify as and actually are black. But go ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
From Minnesota, I really needed your education about my own experience in my own country. Talking to me about social justice and racism like you care about black people in Israel when you actively don't. Because you care, you will talk about the fact that we are literally being slaughtered out here. But you don't.
The Palestinians are not black people. There might be some Palestinians that identify as black. There's a small minority, but they are not black people. They will tell you that they are not black people. They are Palestinian. They have created their own people group. And for the most part, when they interact with black people, they are against them. So no, I will not stand up for the Palestinian people. I will not stand up for the black Jews. I'm not standing up for nobody that is not black and black alone, like that does not say, listen, I have to put these other tribal unique ethnic differences to the side because first and foremost, I'm black. If they don't have that consciousness and that level of understanding about their situation in the world, then they are not on our side. So what is she talking about?
Yeah, and to make it worse, she's actually talking about for Israel, like, oh, black people, the black Israel, I don't want to say black Israelites because we know they separate themselves from that, but the black people in Israel, that's the one I know most people make the claim like black people in Palestine, but of course we're gonna
yeah, the black people in Israel are treated that way because they're trying to integrate into the Israeli side of themselves and the Israelis don't want them, which is why if they are not first and foremost about their black side and taking care of their black business and trying to integrate into their African side, their black side, then they are a lost cause because the very attempt to integrate into these other societies and other cultures is what's making you feel the way you feel. The fact that you're trying to integrate into your Jewishness or integrate into something else other than the blackness that you come from is what's giving you the problems that you have. Even here in America, we have problems with each other, but they're nominal problems with each other when we try to hang out around black people and things like that. But our biggest challenge comes when we try to hang out with and have this multicultural melting pot experience of friends and family and situations and circumstances. When we just keep to ourselves and go to work and try to build up our money and have a firm family foundation and plan that says, listen, you gonna be the one that work. You can educate the kids. You can do this. You can do that. When we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And everybody has a role to play in a black family dynamic. That family works. That family works out much better than a family that's like, okay, everybody got to get a job and we're going to let the school system educate the kids and we're going to let the church indoctrinate us on Sunday and give us our dopamine so we can be rocked back to sleep. And we're going to join these integrated social clubs and we're going to go to the golf course that's an integrated place. And so what, we got to wait for 2 hours for tea time. Whenever we try to integrate into these other places and other spaces, that's when we have problems. Again, it goes back to you hate and are castigating your black side because you're not accepted. And this is the tragic mulatto problem, because they're not accepted by the more powerful white side. They try to pick the white side and they realize that they can't for whatever reason. They're rejected by that side. And so then they turn on the black side and they start trying to go off on them and they try to berate them and belittle them. And that's a constant problem with the tragic mulatto.
Yeah. See, you know, this is why I appreciate Matron for coming on here. John Henry Clark said, you know, that's a tough book. I don't think I want to write it, but I'm petty enough to do it. So, you know, I want to smoke, you know.
And you talk about the experience of Black people in Israel, it's when it fits your political agenda. When you can use and abuse our pain, our struggle to promote your ideology. You exploit our experience, our struggles to promote an ideology that we don't agree with. And the same people posting these things will never tell you that Black people in Israel feel that this is their homeland, that they have bled and sacrificed.
Is there Black people in Israel? Is there Black people in Israel? I thought they kicked them out.
They keep kicking them out, but there's a small number of those Black Ethiopians that came over. There's a small number of those Hebrew Israelites, I think they were, that went over there. So there are some Black people in Israel, but Israel just wants the money from the Black people coming in to do tours and stuff like that. Like, I have a lot of people I know in my world, because I used to really go to a church and I was a Christian and all this other stuff. And people would talk about the spiritual experience they had when they would go to Israel, and this whole reawakening and this spiritual enlightenment, all this other stuff. And as I look at that experience that they're talking about, they pay $5,000 to $7,000, plus they have to eat, plus they buy gifts and trinkets. And everybody that is associated with their tour is a white person, is a Jewish person. So Israel really looks at the Black people, it's like a joke. They come in and they bring these busloads of Black people, rich Black people, because I mean, to have $5,000 to $7,000 to go on a trip, you not so much rich, but middle class. And, you know, you spend this money to go on this experience, to have this experience, and you're just giving white people money. It's tourism. It is biblical tourism. And they making this stuff up. And they're like, oh, this is the watering hole that was in Solomon's temple. And this is some of the original piping. And oh my gosh, it's this and it's that. So yeah, there are some Black people there, but they're not a part of the economy.
Yeah.
Because the economy is biblical tourism. And biblical tourism is a thing that we don't talk enough about. Because the biblical tourism should happen in the continent of Africa. It should not happen in the Middle East.
Yeah, that's a fact. They make, I don't know, like, I can't even tell you how much money they make off of that, you know. It just happened that, you know what I mean? And not only that, you know, of course, well, yeah, the Black people, they just shipped from Africa over there to be their slaves. They over there too. But yeah, you absolutely right. And then I guess like a couple hundred years from now, they're gonna be like those tunnels they was making in New York with some biblical stuff too, I guess, you know.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be the escape route for somebody. Yeah.
Moses went through that way. But all right, so let me finish.
Fought for this country. My community literally walked through deserts in order to be a part of this country. And me living here today wearing these uniforms is the actual realization of my ancestors' Zionist dream. Now I understand. Majority of the people posting are extremely privileged. You are.
You privileged.
You never had to go through war. You don't know how it feels when rockets shoot at you every single day.
She says you're privileged, Matron.
Yeah, I'm privileged. I'm privileged to be Black in America, I bet, because I'm privileged to have at least some vestige of my identity, to know that I'm Black because I'm Black. Even though I have some white mixed in me when I go back some generations, I got some other stuff mixed in me. But I know that I'm black. I've been black for as many generations, that for at least the past 3 generations. So what she just hates her black side.
Yeah, especially you American Negroes.
Your childhood memories are not filled of buses blowing up. But more than everything,
Yeah, it's only the crack epidemic and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, and my school having, gunfire and shootouts at school and the crack epidemic and being checked in and being robbed in my streets and having hunger and man, whatever. This lady better go somewhere.
I'm glad you came
you
on
don't
this
know
one.
how October 7th felt. You don't know how it felt to wake
Yeah,
up
she
on
thinks she is.
Saturday, the
What up,
holiest day
Awana?
for the Jewish people, and realizing that over 1,400 people in your country were killed in the most barbaric, unhumane way. They were gunned down in a party. They were gunned down while sleeping in their bed.
You mean like the 7-year-old young sister Ayala Jones? I think that was her name, Ayala. She was 7 years old. They busted her and they just shot her while she was sleeping on the couch.
Or the 4-year-old that the police busted in and shot a few years ago here in Detroit, or the 12-year-old that was playing with a gun outside, a toy gun outside, and they just thought he was being violent and they shot him down. Or any of these children that died, or the collective trauma that we experience on an everyday basis because our babies are always under attack, even in their schools, because they dealing with a white teacher that's sitting there manipulating the words that are coming out of their mouth to gain some type of foothold on these babies. Any of that?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we didn't go through that. We just made it up, Matron. You said this lady probably works for the Mossad. She's a psyop. I think she, like Matron said, is a tragic mulatto. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she works for anybody. Well, she works for them, but I don't think she's paid.
They were tortured, burned alive, decapitated, raped, and 241 people were kidnapped. 29 of them are children. The youngest is 9 months old.
They do run psyops forecasts. The U.S. government has a whole division where they get on social media and they try to sow dissent in the country and things like that. So, and they like racially ambiguous people because they feel like they can play different roles. So, I mean, it might not be Mossad. She might be a part of your U.S. military that you're paying tax dollars for.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. That is true. And I think that a lot of the arguments and disagreements that, even though we've had them before, but I don't think most of them come from us, But
They don't. No, they definitely don't. A lot of the arguments and disagreements that we have are psyops that have gone way out of control, and they just keep fueling the fire. They keep fueling the fire. And then with the number of veterans that we have out there and people that are just out there, independent agents and operators to see what happens when they do this or that, people that are looking for a reaction, people that don't understand how internet marketing works, and they're out there trying different things, trying to go viral, thinking that that's how they're going to get a bag. Yes, there's a lot of confusion about how money is made on social media and what you actually have to do to make money. I've had to explain this to people over and over and over again because they don't understand that you get money through donations, advertising, and merchandise. Those are the only ways that you make money on social media. Period, point blank. And to get money from getting money from advertising dollars is probably the hardest. People will donate to you first, because getting to the point where you have ads and things like that requires consistent performance, consistent buffoonery, consistent foolishness. So yeah, I think a lot of these are psyops that went, that got out of control.
yeah, I feel you. I say I'd be like, you might as well put on the blackface and some tap dancing shoes, and it's just minor minstrel shows, and you know what? Black people did minstrel shows back then, and we doing them now on here. I agree with that. You know, but and then also though, you know, I think that, well, I know that oftentimes, you know, it goes a couple different ways, right? Either a mulatto, they will have split alliances, which they probably should, you know, but or they'll either go over the top to prove their blackness, or they'll be the full opposite and hate their blackness, and they know they can't be accepted by anything else, you know. And I think that that does play a role in this a thing. Not to say that black people aren't going to sell out or be agents or psyops or whatever, you know, but anyway, you know. So hold on, let me finish the rest of it.
What kind of a monster kidnapped a 9-month-old baby? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not making this video to convince you that I have the right to defend myself. I'm going to do it either way. I'm making this video to tell you that we did not start this war.
Who the hell
But
is
we are going to be the ones to finish it. We're going to destroy Hamas, and we're going to bring our people back.
Now, I really just wanted to play that one last part because this is what I've been trying to tell y'all.
That we did not start this war, but we are going to be the ones to finish it.
We did not start this war, but we should definitely finish it, you know. We all make sure you what you got to say about that though?
I agree. We do have to be the ones to finish this war. We didn't start this war. We started with wanting to trade and wanting to just improve commerce. And we like to do business. We like to make money. We like the idea of trade. Trade is something that we do innately. We do it with each other and we do it with other people. And we didn't start this great incursion, this settler colonialism. We didn't start this eradication of the Black person. We didn't start this Black is on the bottom. We were on the top. But we have to be the ones to finish it by arming ourselves with weaponry and with education, because information is also a weapon.
Yeah, information is a valuable weapon at that, you know. Hell, you learn, like, you need information to learn how to make physical weapons, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you had the correct information, you could feed yourself, clothe yourself, find shelter, and find protection with the correct information. And you would know why you're doing it, what you're doing it for, who you're doing it for, and with knowledge of history and all of that stuff. Like, yo, never again, you know, because it would have to be an Arab, I guess, for us to understand. But, you know, maybe we'll learn one day.
I don't think we're ever going to truly learn. I think that it'll happen in small groups. I think that until you get to a Black country and you can tell the power structure, listen, this is what the white person is doing. This is what any non-African is doing. They are trying to come in and socially and sexually integrate into your power structure so they can take over. And that's the simple message. That's a simple, direct message that you can communicate to anybody, whether it's an 8-year-old or an 80-year-old. They'll all understand that. And then you give them examples like, this is what happened. This is why they tried to say Cleopatra was white. This is why we know that Nzinga was Black. This is why we have to fight and keep our racial purity, because they are trying to socially and sexually take over, and they continue to do this, and they're going to try to integrate into whiteness once they do that. Once they're in your power structure, you're going to look up one day and have a white chief. If we're not careful, Tupac is going to be white in 100 years.
Martin Luther King might be white in 10 years.
Yeah, they keep lightening him up. They finally released the color photos of him, and they keep lightening him up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, Matron, did you ever get to watch that movie?
I did get to watch that movie, and it was a really good portrayal of what Nzingo did.
Yeah, you think it was like really accurate?
I think it was more accurate than most. I think that most foreign movies about Black people are more accurate than the depictions we get here in America. because
Yeah,
they're always trying to whitewash the information we get here.
yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, I like that movie. I watched it a couple of times. Because like like I think that was it was fairly close to like the truth. Of course it was a movie and a portrayal. That's what people don't realize what a portrayal is. Uh, that's why they be like, oh, this movie was fake. It was a portrayal, and to be honest with you, any kind of like slave movie or like historical figure is going to be hard to say the truth, especially if you talk about somebody like Nzinga and all the people that she when she was going to war until she was in her 60s or later than that. But yeah, Matron, you're gonna be. Oh yeah, let me do this because this is something positive before we get out of here. This is quick. I wish I could blow it up, but it's small. But for those of you brothers, because I showed and Matron brought up, the brother who went rafting with the white girl in Idaho, and this other brother who was going to see this white girl and the OnlyFans dude. This when you in a situation where you're the only brother, this is how you respond.
I would throw you through the fucking
World star.
What's good?
Even if you talk white, I know people don't like, but you're talking white. That means you don't talk with the right energy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't saying nothing smart. It's just that you talk like you got something stuck up your butt.
What's good? What's good? You don't fucking talk to me, Sean. And you're thinking, all you want to do is call me out. Are you want to call me out? You're not going to talk to me. You pushed me first. What do you want to say? Talk. Say something then. Talk to me. Say something. What do you want to say? I asked you. Everyone knows why I'm mad. You pushed me. Everyone knows why I'm mad. What do you want to say? I asked you. Because they just want to call me out. Because what the fuck is she saying? Nothing. Me, blah, blah, blah. Fucking nigger! Don't tell me that, Joe.
I wish I could have blew that one up, but
I'm gonna tell you what my niece says. My niece says if the question is always violence, the answer is always yes, and she's 12. She said, if the question is always violence, the answer is always yes.
the facts. The movie is Queen is Nzinga, Queen of Angola. I believe that's the right name. Is that a Chinese dude? No, it was a little ass white dude who thought he had the heart because the black dude probably never swole up on none of them until he called them the N-word. But that's what you get, and like Maestro said, sometimes, well, let's be real, like that, like there's only one answer at the end of the day. Y'all not ready to hear that part. So I'm gonna just say do it positive, you know what I'm saying? Look for ways to invest your money and support black businesses. But at the end of the day, like you're gonna have to get your hands dirty. But anyway, Matron, you want to say, oh yeah, the opposite of woke. They're telling us to not be woke, you know what I'm saying? You know what the opposite of woke is?
As far as I can tell, the opposite of woke is sleep. And and that's why drugs are being legalized across the country like never before. That's why they want you to go back to church. That's why they're trying to get you busy with a job. That's why they're trying to keep you, quote unquote, part of the machine so that you don't become a free thinker and stay woke. But I say stay woke. I got my coffee right now.
Yeah, I'm up right now. And so-called is because y'all trip me out all the time when everything is so-called this and so-called that. The final solution, it'll never be a final solution, my brother. That's the thing. Even if they all had a heart attack right now simultaneously, or the sun just got hot enough to like melt them, it'll be a new problem tomorrow. So that's the thing we don't even realize. But anyway, Matron, you got any last words? And of course, you can put your channel, and anybody who got a thing, I gave y'all a link so y'all can put y'all channels, because you coming on tomorrow with the next chapter of Destruction of Black Civilization.
Yeah, I'm coming on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the next chapter of The Destruction of Black Civilization. He's going to try to start offering some solutions, but the real solution is to arm and equip yourself. And that armament starts with education, information, and of course, weaponry. And if you are not ready to go there, you're just going to continue to be chewed up by this machine. And this machine is set up to manipulate you and keep you on a hamster wheel. Period, point blank. Thanks for having me, Forecast.
Yeah, thank you, Mason, for coming on here. I know I should have called you out, but I'm glad you did come on here. I wanted you to see that, and I appreciate everything. And by the way, Bawana, in 2124, some white dudes and a white bitch is gonna be online, or whatever they have, talking about the destruction of white civilization. Like I was telling Matron earlier, they're gonna be reading the book, The Destruction of White Civilization, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, Matron and this dude Forecast, they was like tripping. They was like talking about this final solution." So, but anyway, I appreciate y'all. And I think that a lot of us are still the opposite of woke. But I'm going to let this brother here have the last words.
Stricken, not because we have not. You don't have to have any land if you're smart enough to talk other people out of theirs or take other people's lands. In other words, then, the ultimate determiner of wealth and power in the world is the mind of the human being. And that is why, then, we are poverty-stricken, not because we have not been blessed with wealth, but because we have been robbed of our greatest wealth, which is our mentality and our consciousness as a people.
All facts, all facts. So-called black folk, as always, shouts out to Bawana, shouts out to Jermaine, shouts out to my brother Icon Fire, shouts out to my brother Bill Gates. It's been a minute. I appreciate it, my brother. Shouts out to Considra Realm in the Bush. I support Considra Realm in the Bush. Shouts out to Oni. Shouts out to Melanated Goddess. Shouts out to Raw. Definitely shouts out to Raw. Shouts out to Erica. And definitely shouts out to Matron. Thank you for coming on here. Y'all subscribe to Matron's channel, and I expect to see y'all in there tomorrow. But as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.